Clinton Joshua and Miwa Olorunfemi star together in this movie titled A Love Like Mine. Now, this is not a first-time combo. Clinton and Miwa have starred together in some previous projects titled Treasure in the Sky and A Love to Remember, and both were hit movies. Now, does the same go for this particular movie? Let's find out. So the storyline follows Niniola, played by Miwa Olorunfemi, a lady with an epileptic condition. She crossed paths with Adeola, played by Clinton Joshua, a doctor with human empathy who seems to be a destiny helper sent to her. So A Love Like Mine, movie produced by Uchenna Mbunabo, currently showing on Uchenna Mbunabo TV on YouTube. Movie directed by Chidi, Anyanwu, Chidox. Now enough about the info, let's head to the review. First things first, the storyline was really good, like really good, emphasis on the really. Plus, it wasn't too predictable. Special shout out to Creative Pen for the story and the screenplay. Then when it comes to the performances, honestly, I will have to commend Miwa Olorunfemi. She slayed this role. For me personally, I kind of prefer her playing roles like this more. She connects more with me when she plays roles that are similar to this. Her facial expressions were on point, everything was good, and it was natural. Playing the character of Niniola, who was epileptic. She slayed that role. Now, speaking of epilepsy, the research done about epilepsy in this movie wasn't at all surface level. Like, the movie managed to explore the setbacks that people with epilepsy can face. Take the isolation, for example, the stigmatization, the discrimination, and even some misconceptions. And these factors can result to challenges and barriers in some aspects like social interaction, employment, and even in education. Now, I talked about misconception earlier. There are some traditional misconceptions about epilepsy. Some people might call it a curse, a punishment, and some might go as far as saying that the person is possessed or even call it witchcraft and all. And that was the case for the character Niniola. Now, there was a line in this movie that Miwa said that I really liked. Quoting her, she said, "God, send my destiny helper to me. Let the earth continue to trouble them until they find me." Now, that line was really deep. And that line alone could tell you that the character Niniola had gone through a lot. Then when it comes to the male lead of the movie, Clinton Joshua playing the character of a doctor. He had the demeanor of a medical doctor, plus he looked the role. He enacted the role really well and he was natural with it. Come on, give this guy a role that he can't play, because what is this now? You guys shouldn't come at me. I just meant that he's really versatile and he's good at playing any role he gets his hands on. That's what I meant. Now, speaking of the medical aspect, I love the fact that this movie managed to touch one of the annoying policy that most hospitals have. Is it most hospitals or all hospitals that have this policy? Because take, for instance, a patient is rushed into a hospital and is in dire need of treatment ASAP. If the person that rushed the patient into the hospital doesn't have the money to deposit before they commence treatment, the hospital won't do anything. They will just fold their hands and watch as a human being dies, like knowing well enough that they could have done something to prevent that. Yes, I know it's not a charity organization, but anytime I see such a scenario happening in real life or in movies, it's really disheartening, honestly. But nevertheless, Clinton Joshua and Miwa Olorunfemi did a great job in creating a realistic and compelling narrative here. The movie having a duration of 2 hours and 41 minutes, it wasn't at all fast-paced. The narrative progresses smoothly, and I loved how they didn't rush through this movie. They took their time in tackling all of the aspects of this movie. In most cases in other movies where the destiny helper would bring in a total stranger to help the person, they would just ignore other aspects of the movie. They would just shift them one side and give the male lead and female lead more screen time for the love to blossom. Like, they would totally make the occupational aspect surface level, but that wasn't the case for this movie. Even after the character Adeola brought Niniola in, they didn't just cut off the work aspect. Adeola still had scenes at the hospital even after he brought her in. They didn't just rush to give him and Niniola more screen time to fall in love. They tackled every other aspect of the movie really well. It was only during the second half that they had more screen time. Now, with the way this movie was directed, spoiler coming up, spoiler coming up. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it first and then come back to complete this review. Now, like I was saying, with the way this movie was directed, you'd think that the character Adeola would end up falling in love with Niniola due to the fact that he had a long distance relationship with Elena. You know how long distance relationships are, but that wasn't the case. That's why I said that this movie wasn't too predictable. There were other aspects too that made it not too predictable, and that was really good. Story was good, and it was also directed well. The cinematography too was really good. Shout out to Gentle C Obiagwu for that. Now, the special score really helped in adding to the emotional feel of this movie, and I'm talking about the soundtrack titled Love Like Yours. Shout out to Michelle Tochux who performed the song and Samuel Tochux who produced it. Now, I also love the fact that they didn't just stay in one setting in this movie. Take, for instance, the house was there. They went to the restaurant, they went to the hospital, they went to the market, and even the department store. And I think one of the reasons for that was to give an example that an epileptic person can have seizures anywhere at any time, and also show how most people react to it. Now, there was a line here that really cracked me up, and that was the scene where Adeola's co-doctor refused to let Niniola stay with her, and she refused him by saying, "Permit me to decline." Like, does that even make sense? Like, before this, I didn't know that I could permit someone to decline. Is that a thing? Like, that was literally funny to me. Okay, I think there was a blooper in this movie. There was a scene where Adeola and Brenda were going out of the hospital. And if you look closely behind them, there was a kid who was returning from school. And that kid opened the door to the hospital and she went right in as if she lived in the hospital. Now, what do you think that conveyed? What do you think? But nevertheless, the narrative was really compelling and each of the cast played each of their roles excellently. This movie is definitely worth your time. I think I'll be giving this a 4.5 out of 5 thumbs up. If you've seen the movie, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below and I will see you next time on my review. Bye!